You've stood in front of that mirror, really stood there, and felt something you can't quite name. Not sadness, not vanity, just this quiet, unsettling feeling that the woman looking back doesn't quite match the woman you feel like inside. And somehow, you always end up wondering if it's the hair. Here is the truth nobody in your life will say out loud. For women over 60, the wrong haircut doesn't just look outdated. It actively works against you. It pulls at your features, flattens your cheekbones, makes shadows fall where light should be. And the worst part? The cuts doing the most damage are the exact same cuts that stylists keep suggesting to women your age, because it's what they've always done, not because it's right for you. Nobody tells women over 60 the truth about haircuts. Until now. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women, so you get simple, proven transformations that work instantly. Today we are covering the 3 haircuts that will genuinely make you look 10 years younger, and the 3 cuts you need to stop the moment you leave this video. By part 3, you are going to want to pause, pick up your phone and call your stylist. I mean it. Here is what we are covering. In part 1, we are looking at the first cut that erases years, and I will tell you exactly why it works on bone structure like yours. In part 2, we expose the most common cut women over 60 are still getting, and why it is quietly adding years instead of taking them away. Part 3 reveals a transformation cut that your colorist can enhance in under an hour. And Part 4 ties everything together with the rule that makes every single cut we cover work even harder for you. We are also revealing the 3 cuts to avoid. And one of them is so common, I guarantee you have either worn it yourself or sat next to someone who has this week. Stick with me through every part. Because the very first haircut we cover, I see it on 9 out of 10 women who come back to the chair looking years younger. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let us go. Now, let me show you exactly what this cut looks like on the same woman before and after, so you can see why the change is so immediate. Picture 2 sides. On the left, the same woman with a single-length blunt cut falling past the jaw, straight down, no movement. The eye travels straight to the chin and stops. The face looks heavy. The cheekbones disappear. On the right, that same woman, same face, same silver hair, now cut into a soft layered bob with face framing pieces. The layers create upward movement. The cheekbones reappear. The jaw looks refined. The entire face reads as lighter, lifted, and younger. This is not a filter. This is not makeup. This is geometry doing its job. Now, let me show you exactly what this cut looks like on the same woman before and after, so you can see why the change is so immediate. Picture 2 sides. On the left, the same woman with a single-length blunt cut falling past the jaw, straight down, no movement. The eye travels straight to the chin and stops. The face looks heavy. The cheekbones disappear. On the right, that same woman, same face, same silver hair, now cut into a soft layered bob with face framing pieces. The layers create upward movement. The cheekbones reappear. The jaw looks refined. The entire face reads as lighter, lifted, and younger. This is not a filter. This is not makeup. This is geometry doing its job. The difference you just saw is real, repeatable, and available to you at your very next salon appointment. Your bone structure was always capable of this. The right cut just has to let it show. Part 2, the mushroom cut and the blunt pixie. 2 cuts that age you fast. Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked out of a salon feeling like something was wrong, but you could not put your finger on what? You trusted your stylist. The cut was clean, and yet something felt heavier, rounder, older than when you walked in. There is a good chance you just experienced one of these 2 cuts. The mushroom cut, the blunt pixie, both are everywhere. Both are being recommended to women over 60 constantly, especially to women with fine or thinning hair. And both are doing quiet, consistent damage to how young and vital you look. You needed to hear this. Let us start with the mushroom cut, because this one breaks my heart a little. The mushroom cut is rounded, full at the sides, and often features a low curved fringe that sits heavily across the forehead. It was designed for volume. The problem is, for a mature face, volume at the widest part of the head and across the horizontal forehead line does exactly the opposite of what you need. It widens the face visually. It shortens the neck. It brings the eye down and across instead of up and in. Your best features, your eyes, your cheekbones, your natural elegance, get framed by a heavy round shape that works against all of them. This is not about the cut being ugly. It is about proportion. And on faces over 60, this proportion is simply not flattering. Now the blunt pixie. This one is trickier because it sounds bold and modern, and in theory it should work. But here is the issue. A blunt pixie, particularly one with a heavy flat top or a sharp horizontal fringe line, creates hard horizontal lines across the face. Hard lines are not your friend. Hard lines read as severity, and severity adds age. The soft version of a pixie, with texture and movement and softness around the face, completely different story. But the blunt version? It is one of the most aging cuts a woman over 60 can wear. What to swap? If you love a short cut, swap the blunt pixie for a textured pixie with soft wispy pieces at the temples, and a slightly longer top with natural movement. And if you have been wearing a mushroom cut for its volume, swap it for a soft rounded layered bob instead. You get the volume without the width at the wrong places. This is the one that made a friend of mine stop mid-conversation, touch her own hair, and say, "Wait, is this what has been bothering me?" Your maintenance tip for avoiding these cuts. Before your next appointment, bring a photo of what you want rather than describing it in words. A stylist hearing short and full may instinctively reach for a mushroom shape. A photo removes all ambiguity. The most powerful thing you can do today is know exactly which cuts you are walking away from, and exactly what to ask for instead. Coming up next, the transformation cut that takes natural silver and gray hair and turns it into something that looks like it cost you 3 times as much as it actually did. Part 3, the wispy long bob, the transformation cut for silver and gray hair. I want to talk to you about something that most stylists will not bring up first, because they assume you already know. You do not. Almost none of the women I speak to know this. And it is one of the most powerful style upgrades available to you right now. If you have silver, gray, or white hair, or a beautiful mix of all three, there is one specific cut that makes that color look like it belongs on the cover of a high-end magazine. And it takes your colorist about 4 minutes to enhance once the cut is done. The wispy long bob. This cut sits just at or slightly below the collarbone. It is longer than a classic bob, which means it creates a graceful, elongating line along the jaw and neck. The ends are not blunt. They are wispy, feathered, diffused. And that texture is everything. Because natural gray and silver hair catches light in a way that no dye can fully replicate. When you add wispy movement to that, ends that lift and float slightly rather than cutting straight across, the light plays through the hair in a way that looks luminous and intentional, not tired or aging. This one is everything. Here is why this cut ages you in reverse. The longer length maintains the neckline, which is one of the most youth-signaling parts of a woman's silhouette. Short cuts, even flattering ones, can sometimes interrupt that line. The wispy long bob keeps it intact and draws the eye gracefully downward rather than cutting it off. The colorist enhancement I mentioned? Ask for a few soft face framing pieces that are one shade lighter than the rest. Even within your natural silver tones, there are lighter and warmer variations. Those lighter pieces at the front catch the light first and create the appearance of a halo effect around your face. It is subtle. It is elegant. And it makes your eyes the first thing anyone sees. Honestly, I have seen this combination, wispy long bob plus soft face frame highlights in natural silver, make women look genuinely 15 years younger. And I have seen it done in under 2 hours total. What to swap? If you are wearing a blunt shoulder-length cut where the ends are all one line, swap to a wispy long bob by asking your stylist to point cut the ends for texture rather than cutting straight across. That single technical change transforms the weight and the light of the entire cut. Maintenance tip. Wispy ends need a trim every 8 weeks. Not a full cut, just a cleanup of the ends to keep the texture intentional rather than scraggly. There is a third cut to avoid, and this one is the one I almost did not include, because it is so normalized that mentioning it feels almost controversial. We are covering it in part 4, along with the one golden rule that makes every single cut we discuss today work harder for you. Part 4, the textured pixie, the length rule, and the cut you must stop today. We have saved the most important part for last. And I say that knowing how strong parts 1, 2, and 3 already were. Because this part is not just about one more cut. It is about the underlying principle that determines whether every cut we covered, actually works for you. And it is about the third cut to avoid, which is so common that you might be sitting in it right now. Let us start with the final cut to avoid. The severe bowl cut. Not a soft rounded bob. Not a layered shape. I mean the classic rigid bowl. A hard unbroken horizontal line all the way around the head, often mid-ear or just below, with no taper, no texture, and no variation in length. This cut creates a band of weight around the widest part of the head. It closes off the face rather than framing it. The horizontal line sits exactly at the most unflattering visual point for most mature faces. And because it is so uniform, it draws the eye immediately to that band rather than to your face, your eyes, or your natural elegance. Now, the textured pixie, the cut that takes everything short and makes it work. If you love short hair and you do not want to give it up, you absolutely should not have to. But there is a world of difference between a textured pixie and a blunt one. The textured pixie has a slightly longer top, with natural movement and height. The sides taper softly rather than cutting bluntly. There are wispy pieces near the temples and ears. And crucially, the crown has lift rather than compression. This version of a short cut lifts the face upward. It creates vertical energy where the blunt version creates horizontal lines. And vertical energy is youth. What to swap? If you have a severe bowl cut or a blunt short cut with no movement, ask your stylist for a textured short cut with a longer crown, soft taper at the sides, and wispy temple pieces. That is the upgrade. It is not a different length. It is a different intention. Now, the golden rule that makes every single cut we covered today work harder for you. The rule is this: every cut must have movement. Not volume necessarily. Not length necessarily. Movement. Your hair, at any length, must be able to shift slightly, catch light at multiple angles, and create a sense of life when you move. A cut without movement, no matter how technically precise, reads as static. And static is aging. This is why the soft layered bob works. This is why the wispy long bob works. This is why the textured pixie works. They all create movement. And this is exactly why the mushroom cut, the blunt pixie, and the severe bowl cut do not work, because they are all static. All weight. No movement. This is the one rule your stylist may never say out loud because they are thinking in terms of shape, not behavior. But you needed to hear it. Your maintenance tip. Whatever cut you choose, always ask your stylist to finish with a lightweight serum or texturizing mist rather than a heavy product. Heavy product kills movement. And movement is the whole point. Everything you just learned, the 3 cuts that take years away, the 3 cuts that add them back on, and the single rule that ties them all together, is actionable starting today. In the very next video, we are talking about the one color technique that works hand in hand with every single cut we covered here. And it is available at almost every salon at no extra cost. You do not want to miss it. You just learned 6 specific haircuts, 3 to choose and 3 to walk away from, that most women spend years figuring out through trial, error, and too many salon appointments that left them feeling off. That knowledge is yours now. Use it at your very next appointment. Boom, your bone structure was always this stunning. Now your cut just has to show it. Tell me in the comments. Which of these 6 haircuts surprised you the most? And are you currently wearing one of the 3 to avoid without knowing it? Next time, we are uncovering the single color technique that makes every one of these cuts look even more expensive and younger than it already does. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I will see you in the next one.